Hey everybody, today is day 4 of our Mya Sew-a-long. We are working on our side seams and our armbands. I'm going to start with the versions that I did with sleeves, since I won't have to do armbands, of course. And my first step is to match up my seams there at the arm. And then I match up the bottom hem, the raw edge there, and then I match up the sleeve, the raw edge of the sleeve, making sure of course you have right sides together. And then for this version, since I have the sleeve ruffles, I'm going to put a few extra clips to make sure that my ruffles lay nicely. Normally I don't put this many clips on the sleeve, but since I want my ruffles to sit correctly and not be folded over or anything, I'm going to put a few extra clips in. And if you want, you can put a few extra clips along the rest of the sleeve, and then you can place a few along the bodice. Then we'll stitch that up with a 1/2" seam allowance. Now we'll repeat for the opposite side. So again, matching up that seam. And match up the raw edge of the bottom hem. The raw edge of the sleeves. And then again, those ruffles. Make sure that they're laying nicely, and then go ahead and clip them. And we'll go ahead and attach. This version is all set. You can see our side seams are complete. Having my sewing machine on the same table as my serger is making me crowded over here. On this next version, we'll do the same. Match up the seam under the arm, the raw hemline, raw edges of the sleeve, and remember, this is all a 1-to-1 fit, so if you're having to stretch either your front or your back bodice, it's it likely means either you didn't cut the same size for the front and back, or possibly your fabric shifted, but they should match perfectly. Sometimes too, especially with fabric that's a little more difficult to work with, if you have something slinkier, sometimes it's just that you've stretched the fabric while you were sewing without realizing it. So if you notice that you're having issues with that, it's good to do a little more clipping. That helps prevent this accidental stretching. We'll stitch up that side seam. And another one that we can set to the side. My short sleeve tunic, I'll do the same, match up the seams. The sleeve edges and my hemline, and then we will sew that seam up. One more side. This tunic is ready for day 5. And then last, I have my 2 tank versions. So first we'll do the side seams, and then we'll attach the armbands next. Match up your side seams. And then we'll stitch those with a 1/2 inch seam allowance as well. Other side. come back to the armbands on that one in just a moment. First, we'll do the side seams for this one. The last piece for day 4 is to construct and attach our armbands. So our first step is to fold them with right sides together and create a loop by serging or stitching the short edges together. I'm going to go ahead and do all 4 of mine. We're going to fold the bands in half with wrong sides together. And this is a great time to press them to give them a nice professional finish. Then we'll quarter it. So I always start with the seam as my first point. And then from there I find my other 3/4 points. So you can see I have my 4/4 points marked. Now when I go to attach it, I don't use the shoulder seam as my starting point. I always start with the underarm seam because I like to match the band seam with the underarm seam. So that's where my first 1/4 point is. And then from there I find my other 3. And you could definitely do the flutter sleeves with the bands if you're doing a tank. You just have to be a little bit more careful that you don't get that flutter caught up in the serger or in your sewing machine if you're attaching it that way. But I think it's really cute on the tank versions. Match up your 1/4 points. Sit that clip fine. Go ahead and attach with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So you can see there, it's got the band and the flutter sleeve. We'll go ahead and do the same steps for the opposite side. Quarter your band and then quarter your neckline. We'll quarter your band and then quarter your arm side. Oh, got my flutter stuck. And then we'll match that up with right sides together. Oh, couldn't find my seam. If you're struggling with bands, you can definitely put on more than 4 clips and mark more than 4 points. I know a lot of people like to do 8. Four is usually plenty for me. I'm going to turn our right side out to check it. You can see I have my flutters and bands on both sides now. Last thing left to do today is the racer back bands. So we've already made our loops. We can go ahead and quarter our bands. I'm just going to go ahead and quarter the other one to clipping. the corner of our arm side. And then we can match up our points. And again, I always start with the underarm seam. One armband is done. We'll do the other one. Find my 4 quarter points. And then match up my band. I love this floral print. I wish I had saved it for myself. That's right, my daughter will like it too. And that is it for day 4. We've gotten our side seams and armbands done for all of our different versions. And we are ready for tomorrow, day 5. We'll see you then.